already have our first team guaranteed to go FlyQuest. No matter what happens to them, they will be representing North America at Worlds. Team Liquid, Golden Guardians, these two teams going to battle it out to find out who will be the second team representing the region at the World Championships, obviously later on. And Team Liquid, we haven't gotten to see them yet. They are the last team in playoffs remaining to have yet played, so they have gotten the most time to scout, the most time to kind of get their read on the meta. And not only that, because they were the first seed, they were afforded the advantage of choosing who they would play. Between Golden Guardians and FlyQuest, they got their pick of the opponents, so we are expecting them to come out and to look really, really strong.
Yeah, already draft is underway. Olaf, Gangplank, Thresh, and Shen banned away by TL and Golden Guardians respectively. Certainly exciting to see what TL have cooked up on patch 10.16. We've seen quite a lot of movement, and I think that will continue throughout playoffs, even though the patch itself, of course, is staying the same. There's the set ban that's become basically a standard against Closer, who, even though it's not as aggressive as some of his other junglers he's known for, he's certainly very good at finding angles with that champion, so wanting to shut down a lot of the playmaking from the jungle.
Very commonly banned, notably Caitlyn missing. So this does feel like if Caitlyn goes through, you're looking to then match with the Ashe. You're trying to go for that kind of trade of OPs, so to speak. There obviously could be other plans there if they want to get a little bit more complex, but anytime Caitlyn is open, you are expecting it to be locked in. It is the most banned by far on 10.16, and the major reasons it has received more than twice as many bans as the second most banned, which is Nidalee, Azir, and actually Shen all tied there. So, this is by far the highest priority pick. I'm very surprised to see it actually avoided here. Team Liquid, we saw the graphic earlier on the analyst desk. They're talking about it on Countdown, some of the overlap in champion pool and how important potentially Mordekaiser could be, because that has been very strong for teams throughout playoffs, and it is something that is shared in champion pool by both of these players. We saw that Haunter was dominating on that Mordekaiser multiple games against TSM. So they are going to take that for Team Liquid, but it doesn't mean you are giving away Caitlyn to Golden Guardians, who have, perhaps the strongest laning duo in the league. They ran over TSM when they were laning 2v2 there, and now they could actually just go for the Caitlyn Morgana. They could ban out things like the Karma and the Lux, ban out some of those champions that could be difficult for the Morgana, and they could secure themselves a really strong advantage here in the bottom lane right off the bat. And I think that's what I would like to see Golden Guardians do, because their 2v2 in the bottom lane has just been astounding.
Yeah, actually going to save support for later. Okay, well, there's Renekton. That's the kind of pick for Mordekaiser, so already Azael is unhappy.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I feel like it's not as though you had to pick Renekton because it's the only thing that can deal with Mordekaiser. It feels like a fine matchup. For the most part, it just ends up being trading farm. So to me, it felt more pressing to secure a bot lane advantage. Perhaps Haunter is not comfortable playing some of the other matchups that would actually be left on the table, but Haunter has had so much flexibility in his champion pool. He's one of the top laners that has played the most different things. So I am surprised to see that they felt like they needed to go to the Renekton. They couldn't go towards support. I will say, as a caveat, the other thing that they could be doing is actually just trying to save their support pick for last to really guarantee they know all the information about Team Liquid's bottom lane, and then to try to secure a winning 2v2 that way. But I do think that, that can be difficult sometimes when all the bans have come through, and yeah, Morgana, as expected, going to be taken away, so they kind of missed their opportunity there.
Yeah, pretty safe blind here, though, probably for Demonte. It does seem like they are erring towards wanting to kind of pick support. Hey, Kobe, talk about it on the disc. CoreJJ sees the whole enemy bottom lane so often in draft for Team Liquid, even on the blue side, which is something that you can, of course, avoid if you want to draft this way. Golden Guardians potentially recognizing that may indeed give who he can pick, and if his Zoe is locked in, that is the expectation, as that will be the lock-in.
So it will be counterpick for bot lane. I think this makes a lot of sense. Golden Guardians had a really strong plan coming in against TSM, but Team Liquid doesn't have as clear of a kind of like a target, right? For TSM, Golden Guardians just chain banned out Bjergsen and then tried to get winning 2v2s in the bottom lane, and they were able to do that. I think it's more difficult against Team Liquid to prepare a pick and ban strategy because they are a more well-balanced squad than probably anyone else really in the league right now. So, that becomes difficult, but I still want to see them try to emphasize their strengths in that bottom lane. You need to really have kind of that point of power. Bard is going to be getting locked in here. So we'll see where Golden Guardians does want to take us. When you are going against Bard Ashe, there is the possibility to try to get aggressive, to try to go for all-in style of play. You could also even go poke heavy. You know, I think Zyra is something that has really been kind of overlooked and can really fit very well in the meta. Caitlyn Zyra, I think, is an absolutely dominating lane. Karma here is going to help to contest the push. Karma, I would consider a stronger laner than the Bard, but they are going to go for the hard engage style. So
okay.
I do think this makes sense. You know, it's obviously a very different route than the Morgana. It's less lane dominant in that you don't have a guaranteed push because you don't have double range here, and Alistar could potentially be getting poked a bit by the Bard and the Ashe. That could secure them the push. But that being said, both of these champions are going to be relying on their flash to avoid the Alistar combos. If you do get hit by that headbutt pulverize, you have the trap to follow that up. You have the trample stun coming right after that. So it is a very powerful combo, just done in a very different way than what you would see from the Morgana. You know, this is less about just auto push and take turret plates and more about just kill him.
Yeah, certainly fun to watch the 2v2 unfold because it is a little bit different here for Huhi and FBI. Also, just in general with these supports, I think it will be fun to track support counterpick as a thing throughout the series, because if I was going to point to two supports with very large champion pools, it would be these two. CoreJJ has demonstrated a ton of mastery in different matchups already, and Huhi, he was a mid laner. He still has plenty of picks even in that role, so I'm sure he's got some things prepared. But with champ select complete and the players loading onto the Rift, it is time for Game 1 of Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians. All right, we're on to the Rift for our first game between Golden Guardians and Team Liquid. A best of 5 to determine who stays in the upper bracket, who gets to play FlyQuest, and who gets to guarantee their spot at Worlds this year. There is a lot riding on this best of 5. Neither team is out of playoffs if they lose here, but winning here means an awful lot in this one single series.
I mean, guaranteeing your world spot there, you know, maintaining upper bracket advantage so you keep that extra life is going to be so important going forward in this playoff format. So very, very excited to see how game number 1 plays out. You know, will TL try to mix things up a bit, or are they going to be kind of playing that more tried and true style? You know, this is a team that doesn't surprise anyone. This is a team that plays slow, that has, you know, the least different champion picks of any team in the league, but their strength is that they make very few mistakes. They have strong individual players. They rarely will make that mistake to kind of give over a lead or throw a game. If you give them an advantage, they're going to win, and this is something that they've kind of honed throughout the weeks, and honestly, they are looking, I think, fairly similar to the championship form that they had when they won 4 straight. You know, this is a squad that becomes very difficult to beat unless you can really get advantages in pick ban or push them faster than they are ready to react, and we'll have to see if Golden Guardians is going to be able to do that today.
All right, well, little things here at level 1. Leashless for Closer here in the top side of the jungle. Broxah starting on the same side at his blue with a bit of help from Impact. Means Haunter gets to go to that lane first. But this is probably the lane we'll be talking about a lot in the early game. It's the 2v2 between Tactical, CoreJJ, and FBI and Huhi. FBI already took out CoreJJ's former lane partner, Doublelift. Now he's got a shot at CoreJJ, but it's not going well so far at level 1. Is that the extra range champion really helping out?
Yep. I mean, this is kind of the thing, right? And Alistar is basically not a champion before level 3. You know, people talk about the level 2 combo. It's not really that. Ever since they added the trample stun, you know, later in, you really do need level 3 to be able to do anything. So they're just trying to stay in range and actually get experience. And you can tell that CoreJJ, you know, is actually wanting to play this very aggressively because he did go for the Spell Thieves. It's not going to be the more standard Relic Shield start. He's clearly not worried about the all-in. He feels that he's going to have enough freedom to actually just step forward consistently, you know, be able to auto and land spells to trigger the Spell Thief's gold. And if you can do that, you can get the Sight Stone completion very, very quickly. And the added mana regeneration allows you to play it more aggressively too. Because basically their goal in this lane is to keep FBI and Huhi so low on health that they can't look for the all-in. Because if you play it passively, then there are going to be opportunities for this Golden Guardians bottom lane to look for the 2v2 kills. Uh-oh.
So going to spot one. Yeah, that's not a good place to recall. Damonte already very low. Going to put Jensen to sleep, but not a whole lot left in the tank. In fact, waking him up might have been a bad call, but Jensen is going to get the ignite that Damonte found on the ground, but he's already being forced back here.
And even though he didn't actually land that Q, I mean, that would have been first blood, probably, if he lands that Q. They're going for the all-in now.
Yep, on to CoreJJ they go. Huhi ready with his ignite and the phase rush on the Alistar, but with closing in the area, CoreJJ and Tactical are just going to disengage.
And Huhi must have missed some experience, because FBI is 3 and Huhi is 2, so maybe he missed a minion there or something. But, you know, didn't actually get 3 as he went in, so you can see how short that kind of little CC chain is without the level 3, because you need that trample for the stun to follow up that little knock-up. He does have 3 now, and that is where it starts to get a little bit more dangerous, because if you can land that trample stun, then you can follow up with the Caitlyn trap and really start to threaten. Ooh. Whoa, that binding really took a right turn.
Yeah, Bard tends to do that.
Bard binding cheats more, I think, than any ability in the game. Like, it is insane. It turns directly sideways and binds people.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like, I know a lot of the devs have been having fun, like, showing off silly things you can do in, like, developer tools, and, like, making abilities, like, needlessly large and have, like, tibbers fall out of Nautilus hooks and stuff. Bard Cube is like, maybe they just left part of it in. We're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. They were making a Twitter meme and forgot to change it back. But we'll see how they're going to be able to do here. Closer has been spotted, but him being around there, obviously behind on the Krugs, means that, you know, TL's bottom lane can't go too aggressive. They do see him on the way out, but they do have a very significant health advantage, because it's not just the health. Like, you have to look over at the fact that they have all of these potions still remaining. Tactical has 2 biscuits and a health potion. FBI has nothing. So if he gets poked down even a little bit more, it does start to get very, very dangerous. The threat of the all-in is lower because they are playing Exhaust. It is not Ignite on CoreJJ, but they still are going to have to be pretty darn careful about it.
Well, top lane here, Haunter actually built up a decent lead for himself. Currently up about a wave.
Yeah, lots to farm, though, for Impact. So it should even out quite a lot unless Haunter can kind of deny that. And, you know, I do expect this to be fairly even overall, unless you can kind of snowball the Renekton very far ahead. Then maybe you can start, you know, threatening dives and things like this. But generally speaking, I expect the Mordekaiser to be able to kind of hold on to in the lane as long as you're playing it pretty well. And Impact, very intelligently, just going to hold the wave and try to set up a little bit of a mini freeze, make sure that Haunter can't base there. He has got to fully push in the wave, and that's going to kind of mess up his base timing a little bit.
Yep, thankfully for him, Broxah, as we know, is on the bottom half of the map, but looks like closes up for coverage just in case. Jensen is actually getting pushed into. There's a dive on the horizon here if Closer wants to go for it.
Yeah, Damonte's coming up too, so they are setting up that 3v1. Impact would have to get out of there because he is not level 6. And it does look like Damonte is heading back, so it's not going to happen. They wanted to see if there would be some sort of opportunity, but with Broxah on the Dragon, Impact is always very smart about this, about knowing when there is the potential. There wasn't really any vision, but they know that Damonte is missing. They know that their jungler is on the bottom side, so he just steps back up. And once you hit 6, it's pretty darn hard to pull off those dives. So honestly, Golden Guardians has kind of already missed their window to really punish the Mordekaiser. At this point, you know, if you try to go for those 2v1 dives, he just ults your jungler and kind of laughs.
Yeah, just keep spamming emotes in the Death Realm. As Golden Guardians were forced back as well by Tactical and CoreJJ's nice play in the bottom lane that opened up space, plus the topside pressure to give Broxah the early Dragon. So right on 6 minutes thereabouts, Team Liquid do pick up the first one. It is a Mountain with Infernal on the way next. But you tend not to get too worried unless, you know, 2 and then, of course, 3 start stacking up nice and quickly. So, again, Team Liquid reading the play, backing off, and then just doing the right thing, taking the objective in front of them.
Yep, but look at the gold lead, right? Like, this is already concerning because Closer, you know, despite the fact that he's playing Graves, is actually down quite a lot of farm. He has spent a fair bit of time trying to cover lanes, trying to see if there's any angles for ganks. And during that, guess what Broxah was doing? He was farming. Not only did he create, you know, a minion farm advantage and obviously taking more of those jungle camps, he also got the Dragon. They are just winning as far as the farm goes in mid, in bot. They are down a tiny bit up there in top, but fairly even, and TL up 700 gold as a result. Well,
yeah, given that there's no plates and no kills, that's pretty impressive. Just farming it out there as Closer will be spotted by Tactical's Hawkshot, but he's busy clearing the rest of his jungle, trying to catch up on Broxer, who's already farmed to level 6, so we'll see if he does want to go for a play. Rift Herald will also be spawning in very soon, 15 seconds. Spawns around that 8-minute mark, so the next objective that Team Liquid to work towards. Because as you mentioned, Team Liquid's strength is that they play very methodical League and they rarely make mistakes.
Exactly. They want to force their opponents to take swings. They generally aren't the ones who do it themselves. They are pretty happy to just kind of sit back, chill, and farm, and say, all right, we're going to do this better than you are, and we are going to draft, better late game than you are, generally speaking. And then their opponents get pressured into situations where they have to try to force advantages, and they have to try to take fights, and TL is very good at responding to that. Also, the fact that TL is actually the ones that get the first dragon kind of takes away any sort of worry about, rush towards Soul coming out of Golden Guardians or anything like that. And because we are not seeing any opportunities given for the all-in from TL's bot lane, FBI and Huhi are just going to fall behind by the nature of the matchup, right? This is not how it looked against TSM. They went for, the Morgana twice, and then they took the Tahm Kench and Thresh. They kind of had those advantageous 2v2s. This is a kill lane, and as a result, if you can't get that all in, you're just going to fall further and further behind.
Monster in the top side, trying to pressure Impact, but Closer again. It's tough for him to accomplish much with Mordekaiser having ulti up. Broxer also in the mid lanes. Core JJ is starting to roam out as well. He's got Tempered Fate at the ready. Damonte will be forced to flash there by Jensen, as he was trying to scoop him in. So respectful flash for Damonte, but that's down to Summoner the next time that roam happens.
Nicely done, yeah. I mean, I think it was a good flash from Damonte given the circumstance that he had to do it. But Jensen, anytime you can trade that ultimate for the flash, you are going to be really, really happy about the situation. And this is just a straight up 20 CS lead in the bottom lane before 10 minutes. So that is really, really rough there for the Golden Guardians bottom lane. Ashe is going to be set up pretty effectively. And because we're kind of through most of what is that laning phase, it's going to be up to Huhi then to find his effectiveness, to find his value in team fights. Caitlyn is going to struggle because you paired Caitlyn, who is a naturally strong early laner, with a very weak laner in Alistar. You didn't find any kills, and now this kind of power trough that we like to talk about a lot with Caitlyn is going to last so much longer because generally speaking, Caitlyn is really strong kind of like on no items, just in the early laning phase. And then you're waiting until like 2-3 items, usually 3 items before you're really strong again. Because FBI is down on farm, because they didn't get any turret plates, they didn't get any kills. He's going to be monstrously far off that. Whereas Ashe is honestly pretty happy just on like Essence Reaver because you can play more of that utility role, just looking for hawk shots, spotting the jungler, throwing out Ws and ultimates. Caitlyn is kind of that pure DPS. You need those items.
Yeah, and it looks like Golden Guardians will be forced back again. Need to go back shopping in time before this dragon will spawn, which is in 40 seconds time. Both top laners, have teleport, both mid laners do as well. So I'm expecting a little bit more of a challenge for this next dragon here by the Golden Guardians, because giving, splitting the first two usually just elongates the mid game more than anything else, but giving 2 away does give much more snowball opportunity. But of course, spending your money before any sort of engagement is always recommended. So looks like Golden Guardians are going to finally make it back home, as Huhi also going to be out on the map to roam, potentially in mid lane here, as Broxer is also shadowing Jensen.
Yep, they're looking to kill off Damonte because he has no flash, right? And that's why Huhi is also standing behind him. That's why Closer was in that area as well, because Golden Guardians knows that there is a window. If they kill Damonte before that dragon, there's no chance to contest. I actually don't think Golden Guardians are going to contest this, just because I think looking at the itemization, I think they're, honestly too weak right now. I do think that their champions kind of need a couple items in oftentimes, whereas TL is ready to go in a lot of roles. So they have no vision in the area. It will just be a second dragon conceded. They're going to try to trade that for the Rift Herald. We'll see if TL wants to try to contest this, because there is a potential that they could delay it with the Bard ultimate. But with Jensen going back to base, I think they're likely just going to let it go. And Golden Guardians will probably have to challenge at that next dragon. Putting yourselves at soul point is usually where people will draw the line. They're not going to be willing to give up that third for free.
All right, well, good trade at least for Golden Guardians. We'll see where Closer does want to drop the Herald. Opening up the map feels very nice for this Caitlyn, who does need to collect some plate money if she can. Blade of the Ruined King done for Haunter as well. This is the Renekton style we've been seeing on an awful lot since Renekton has become one of the premier top laners. Expect Black Cleaver and Death Dance to follow shortly after.
Yep, you go for that Blade of the Rune King. It's really strong for the dueling, not only because of the slow, but because you're getting multiple, on-hit procs, essentially, from that Blade of the Rune King. When you're using the Empower W, that counts as 3 autos, so you're getting 3 Blade of the Rune King hits there. They are pushing this in, but again, it's very difficult to actually dive the Mordekaiser. You would have to try to kill off the turret first, because Mordekaiser can just pick and choose who he's going to fight. They did lose some plates, I believe, on that bottom side as a result of this, because Tactical was just chilling down there farming. Would have been able to push that in. But we'll see if Golden Guardians can get themselves into a comfortable position before this next dragon, because really, it's the race to power. For that third dragon. Both teams know it's probably going to be where they fight, and both teams are going to try to get as powerful as possible for that inevitable third dragon fight.
Well, kind of fun to see everyone like sneaking in the mid lane and then everyone disperses. They realize that the jig is up. Curious to see if Golden Guardians though can kind of hang with TL's pace of the game. This is absolutely the pace we are used to from Team Liquid. Like very deliberate, very methodical, and again, forcing you to make mistakes more than enacting plays of their own in most of the situations they're in. Where Golden Guardians, they did the opposite against TSM. They just played super clean early games and converted very well. So without the sort of lead, in fact, it's Team Liquid that just from farming and how this game is going, have actually very significantly. They're up 1,500 gold with no kills and no towers taken.
And that's why I'm so concerned in this game for Golden Guardians. I think it's pretty much just going to be decided to the third dragon. I think if Golden Guardians go to the third dragon, fight and lose, the game is just over, because you're playing TL's style, you're playing TL's pace. They are the ones who are so adept at playing this style, and Golden Guardians, their brand of League of Legends, the way that they have won games has very much not been this. It has been pushing the pace. It has been getting, big early game leads, even in their playoff series against TSM, and it has been snowballing those advantages. And that is where they are really, really successful when they are winning. So, we'll see if they can kind of match TL's style, but for now, like, this is a dream start, it feels like, for TL.
Yeah, based on the evidence we have been presented, you would assume no, but we'll certainly have to see. To quote the advice of one SKDJ mid laner, Big Benson, just win the fight, Just win. Much easier when you just win the fights. Just kill him. Tempered Fate, oh, poor Sherry.
Nice roam by the JJ.
He's everywhere. He's got the Swifties on, he's roaming around, protecting the towers. No plates, of course, to farm off. That's dropped for now, as Impact just going to collect their 25 extra gold from the Rift Herald, and even Golden Guardians, one little thing they had, stopped by one and only core JJ.
Exactly. I mean, that was what their trade was for the last dragon. Hui and FBI looking to roam around here, but they are spotted by Broxa, who gets out with that easy ward hop. So, that was their trade for the last dragon, and it got nothing, right? It got really nothing at all. Because Core JJ was in the right place at the right time. People are very aware of the Bard ultimate and that interaction. Obviously, with the Rift Herald at this point, it happens pretty much every game that the Bard is in. So teams are trying to get better at actually avoiding the Bard, waiting to drop it away from him. And that is why Golden Guardians did go up towards that top side to try to get it done. But Core JJ was able to anticipate where they would be. He was on the roam, matches that, and denies it. So all their towers are still very, very healthy here on that TL side. And their item completions, have started to arrive. Obviously, Broxa has his Warrior done for a while. Nashor's is done. Blade the Rune King is done. Impact is going to be on components because he's trying to stack a lot of armor, knowing that Renekton and Graves, the only ones that he would really be interacting with, are physical damage. So he has quite an effective build despite not having a full item completion. And as we can see, Caitlyn's not even on IE. So Ashe with Blade of the Rune King is massively more powerful, especially because Tactical is actually up 2 levels.
That's a really good sleep, but a better flash portal for Core JJ to make sure he gets out of there. Potentially opens a window for Golden Guardians to look for the repick or just take the dragon straight up. But Proxy going to try to pick off FBI, slows him down. The arrow is not going to hit. But Golden Guardian's going to have to respond. Ace in the hole there onto Broxus, who he needs to get a range. He's got the flash, he's got the ignite, but slowed off by those volleys means that Golden Guardians cannot return fire.
Yeah, and Tactical actually has spent all his mana. So that is a little bit concerning, I would say. Going into this dragon fight, not only does he not have an ultimate, he has no mana whatsoever. But FBI, no summoners on him. Broxa did commit his flash for that, but it still means that something like Impact flashing onto the Caitlyn and just ulting him is pretty much guaranteed death.
Ooh,
oh, nice engage.
In there, over the wall, looking for a Bakotiji again. Now going to get stunned by Haunts. The collateral damage is going to give Renekton that first blood as Golden Guardians find themselves in a 5v4 around the dragon, but here comes Impact. The pinch is still on here for Team Liquid. Is Demonte going to find Tactical a very good sleep? going to just completely demolish the health bar. Damonte going to flash in and finish off Tactical. The Dragon goes over. Golden Guardians get the kill and the objective. So they're going to open up this game finally.
A big win there for Golden Guardians. That is huge for their chances in this game. Credit to Huhi finding the engage. But CoreJJ with a very rare mistake there, misplaced his portal. So, once he comes out of that CC, instead of portaling away over the wall to safety, he just portals straight into the waiting arms of Ponser. Blast Cone, Flash, engaged. CoreJJ had to be quick, was not precise with the ultimate, so the portal leading him straight into Hanser. And then TL fairly split here, and Tactical moving forward does get caught by the sleep through the wall. Really nicely done there by Damonte. Over the wall he goes with that stolen Flash, taking down the marksman as they secure that Dragon for themselves and deny the possibility of TL just getting towards that immediate Dragon Soul.
Yep, had Ignite as well from the spellbook. So Damonte, an easy pickup there with a super nasty bubble angle onto Tactical is going to give them 2 kills, first and second blood, plus the Dragon to stop the snowball. As you mentioned, that means IE is now done for FBI, Umbral Glaive is done for Closer, and Golden Guardians are going to close what was a unhealthy-looking gold gap in the early game to just about 500 between the two.
It's absolutely enormous that they were able to actually have that happen. I talked about the game potentially being, pretty much toast if you actually lose that and you give over a soul point this early, but they did not. Huhi looking for the engage, but Tactical should be able to walk it out, and they're able to win out on that. And that was a pretty rare mistake there from CoreJJ and TL. Just in general, I don't think was expecting the explosiveness of the engage from Huhi, who really was quick to pull the trigger there, so much credit deserved by him. They were getting punished in that 2v2 because of this Alistar pick not really being able to contribute to that laning phase, but it comes up big at the Dragon fight, so we'll see if he can continue to do that.
Well, it looks like the duos have swapped top lane for now. There's also a second Rift Herald on the menu if teams do want it, so I imagine that's why there's a bunch of activity here with the Dragon being down. Damonte trying to push in the lane, but Jensen, of course, with a nice farm lead and just being Azir with the Nashes, able to push that in nice and efficiently. So potentially some activity here for this Rift Herald, as Broxer is lying in wait around the shrubbery. Huhi is going to spot him, but gets kicked first. As Damonte going to get scooped in again, has his flash, but now going to be forced to use the stopwatch. Has his teammates nearby. Ooh, he gets kicked backwards there, but the arrow is also going to miss as Damonte dips down for it now, and now the near side of Tactical with no flash has to be a bit careful. Jensen goes drowsy, Tempered Fate catches too, but FBI needs to kite it out. He's getting exhausted. Huhi also getting attacked here as Tactical will miss that paddle star, but still kiting forward here for the rest of Team Liquid as Golden Guardians looking pretty unhealthy in the HP department.
They are, but thankfully for them, there's no objectives for TL to go and get. The Rift Herald did despawn. It's post 20 minutes, so up comes Mr. Baron. And both teams will back it up. Nice sidestep on that arrow from Damonte. Credit to him. Would have been an easy kill had that Ashe arrow landed, but both teams actually played very well to protect their vulnerable members. When the sleep landed on Jensen, Tactical is stepping forward. They went out on that health trade, and despite the fact that there's no Rift Herald for them to grab, Tactical is able to move up towards that top side and grab himself that top lane turret. So it's actually the first turret of the game, post 20 minutes. Very late, probably one of the latest first turrets of the split, I would assume. We'll see if Tactical's going to get punished, though, because he is way far up. They don't know who is with him, so they won't decide to go for the play.
Yeah, it definitely speaks to the pace of the game that TL was setting early on, with that tower falling so late. Hornser also gets a nice big wave push into bottom lane, but can't stay around with no vision, so Impact's going to scoop that wave up and be A-OK. That does mean Tactical is the first to 2 items in this game, has the Runin's now finished alongside of the Blade of the Ruin King. We have seen a lot more Essence Reaver, i.e. earlier on the Ashe builds, but Blade of the Ruin King also very good on Ashe, especially if you're trying to get ahead a little bit earlier in the game. So
something else that I haven't talked about yet is the Phase Rush Alistar, and honestly, I'm not sure if this is a mistake because, by the time you proc your Phase Rush, you're going to have used all of your combo and you're just going to be kind of auto-attacking. Perhaps the idea, and this is kind of just theory crafting because honestly I've never seen it. Generally people play just Aftershock pretty much always. I could see the thought process being I go in, I use my combo, I proc the Phase Rush, and then I run out, and then, I'm able to escape and then get a second combo later in the fight. And if that's the idea, pretty cool. We'll see if that's going to be able to actually work out here for Huhi. But as far as the survivability, you're going to be incredibly reliant on that ultimate because you're not going to have that kind of big boost of flat stats that Aftershock would give you.
Well, it is Cloud Soul, so there's definitely some zoomy potential, depending on who grabs that one. Excited to maybe see Huhi running at Aurelion Soul tier speeds. But for now, he's just chilling with the movies around the mid lane as Golden Guardians have made his dragon. Dark Huhi gonna get the combo down. Tempered Fate gonna try and save Tactical. The rest of the team is flashing in. See you later, Ash, as Closer's gonna be the one to seal the deal.
But TL's on Baron. You know, we got to get a look at this because this is a two-man Baron happening right now with the Azir. And I'm pretty surprised, you know, Golden Guardians, they've got to figure this out. Yeah, there it's spotted now, but can they actually even do anything? I think they're too far away, so they're going to TP over. Haunter's got to buy time here.
Try and kill the jungler. That's the best way to do it. Damonte gonna flash in. Instantly knows he's gonna try and take down Broxah, but Broxah is actually dueling the Zoe and winning, but now he's dead. The sleep just in time comes through as Haunter is gonna chase in onto Impact. He's gonna flash out of the way, but Haunter follow flash for the stun. He is gonna be shot by FBI as Golden Guardians just in time sniff out the two-man Baron.
That is really big for them, and I do think getting caught in that mid lane is kind of what gives it up, right? You know, when no one comes over to respond to your two members being attacked, they had vision on the Dragon Pit. Okay, we know TL's not there. You kill their bot lane, mid lane, no one comes to respond. Where else are they going to be? They're not showing on any of the lanes, so they had to be on the Dragon. And now it's a counter Baron attempt here from Golden Guardians. It's going down kind of slow. We'll see if they can actually finish it. The Spellbook Smite came through from Damonte. They're going to get it.
Very well played by Golden Guardians. Had all the tools they needed. Huhi not going to escape alive by the looks of things. But the rest of the squad is going to zoom on out. Ooh, Face Rush actually putting in some work, but Jensen is going to get the kill.
It's one fast cow, but he still goes down. And Golden Guardians punishing TL. Back-to-back objective fights here. TL stayed committed to that. I feel like once Tactical died mid lane, you had to pull off. It was very obvious what they were doing. Instead, they wanted to try to commit to it. They wanted to try to go for that big play, get the big lead. They fail in that, so now it is Golden Guardians with that Baron buff. But TL in position to take the Dragon means they're going to put themselves at soul point. So honestly, not that bad in the big scheme of things. We'll see how much Golden Guardians can get as far as gold is concerned from this Baron buff. Because remember, all the outers are up. So there's a lot of gold available, you know, for a Baron up push to actually claim here. And we'll see how well Golden Guardians is able to do that.
Nice arrow. Good combo. FBI has just gone. Tactical finally nails an ulti. And Team Liquid going to push that Baron power play off a lot further back than they would like. They're going to take the mid outer down as well. Have control now back of the push that was going to begin. Going to have to wait 25 seconds for FBI to come back and start that siege. Haunter at least going to start work on the bottom side. He will get this outer tower nice and easily.
Yeah, that is nice for them. But I've got to say, pretty brazen play by FBI to just step forward there. All 5 members missing on the map from TL, and he just walks up and auto-attacks him. This is the previous play before the Baron attempt did come. So again, out of fog there, in goes Huhi. And that was actually pretty cool. The Phase Rush did get value there. So he procced the Phase Rush with the initial combo and then was able to stay up on top of his target with the Phase Rush, you know, with that trample to actually get the auto attack stun afterwards. So maybe that's where he's looking for value in this situation. We do see a very close duel. Look at how low Damonte was. The flash heal came through from FBI so that Damonte wouldn't die to the burn and was able to finish off Broxah, allowing them to get those kills, get the Baron, put themselves in a lead. And we can see in the bottom left of the screen, Golden Guardians picking up another outer. They're now going top lane. They will get all 3 of those pretty much for sure. And now looking for Jensen.
Yeah, Claudia J actually just going to tank the incoming Paddle Star as a result. Eats a bit of redemption damage as well from Zoe, because again, she found it on the floor. But mid lane outer goes down. Still 30 seconds left for the Red Bull Baron, but Impact is getting things going in the bottom half of the map. Goodbye, tier 2 bottom lane.
I've got to say TL handled the Baron buff very well. The fact that, you know, it didn't kind of get out of control. It's just 1,500 gold. Like, that's basically their Baron power play was taking the Baron. That's about it, right? Because they got a good pick onto FBI. They punished him, you know, without having those summoners and stepping too far forward without knowing where TL was. That got them a kill. They took the mid lane turret off that, and then they're able to trade that bottom lane tier 2, that impact grab for what Haunter would be taking on the top side. So they keep the gold close. They are at soul point, and in the long run, honestly, you'll take that trade. I think TL, as funny as it is probably happier than Golden Guardians about these last couple minutes, even including that Baron take.
Yeah, especially with the soul factoring in.
Yeah,
have to see.
exactly.
I mean, now Golden Guardians are forced to fight every single time it spawns. Next time is 225. But people are getting stronger. Haunts are working on the Death Dance pretty quickly. He actually have 2 items done for Impact as well, so he's got 2 damage items now finished, the Rylai's alongside the Leandries, 2 plus a QSS for Tactical, which certainly will make him feel a lot safer. Basically the same story for FBI though, 2 plus a QSS as well, so teams are starting to get a little bit more even in strength overall, but it's going to be just a lot about how they handle these objectives, and we have 2 major ones spawning in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's also going to be concerning because you're going up against a team that has Soul Point and a Mordekaiser, right? So it's actually not a 50-50. If TL has the inside track on a Dragon, you just rush it down, and Impact flashes over on Closer and presses R, and now Closer doesn't get to play the Smite game. It's just Broxa against no one. So that is a big concern. And we don't see Closer working towards a QSS yet. It is just FBI who has one. So, you know, if I'm TL, I'm trying to make sure I'm at the objective early. I'm trying to make sure I have vision, and I set up, and I look for that exact play.
All right, well, Golden Guardian's the first to set up that vision. They do have 2 control wards in the river. CoreJJ, though, ever vigilant with his vision usage. Unsurprisingly, the highest vision score in the game is going to at least get some defensive vision down. Jensen is going to path over this control ward, going to be slowed down by Closer, but thankfully for him, there's no CC in that brush, just a Graves.
Yep, going to be able to get out of there, no problem. But as you said, Golden Guardians did have the inside track. Unfortunately for them, because they lost control of mid lane, it means TL get access to the river, so they get to put down some of those wards. Zombie wards everywhere there for CoreJJ. Playing that on the Bard is going to help with that vision score too. But this is going to be an incredibly important fight here. We'll see if Golden Guardians can find a big pick, who he has been great to his credit with the engages. They did get bullied in that lane, expected if you can't find any sort of kills with this Alistar Caitlyn, it's the Ashe Bard. But who he has made it worthwhile in all the fights. And now they actually are the first ones to get over to that pit. They're setting up the trap line. So TL is actually trying to play it through mid. If Golden Guardians are too far over there, still 20 seconds, so Hui's going in.
Yeah, he's in there. Temper Fate not going to connect it, but Hui's going to run out of there. Hornsig being grabbed as well by the Mordekaiser E, but Hui burnt everything for the engage, and there's no follow-up, unfortunately.
Yeah, they got nothing from it.
Oh, good. Varro there as the Banshee's is stripped off. He's going to get follow-up stun by the Bard Q as well. Demonte very low in this situation.
I don't think Golden Guardians can win this fight anymore. This is incredibly risky. Jensen already has mid lane all the way pushed in. TL will just move in and take position. Golden Guardians should just give this. You have no health on Hui or Demonte. You have no flash on either of them. Hui doesn't even have an ultimate. He's playing Phase Rush, so he'll get one shot. It did allow him to escape from that position, but that is Soul given away free and clear. And now Golden Guardians going to be in some trouble. They are still up gold, and it is not, straight up combat power. The move speed obviously is very, very valuable, but it's not like, Infernal and Ocean in that same way. So you can still, burst people down and whatnot. But it's going to be difficult to deal with. The 10% flat move speed is often overlooked and is really, really strong. That in addition, obviously, to the ultimate burst of move speed. But I would say really the only person who's getting a ton out of it is Mordekaiser. It's insanely good on Mordekaiser because you throw them into the Death Realm, you get that big burst of move speed plus the flat move speed, and now no one can even kite you. You're just going to get caught and die to the board.
Catch here on the CoreJJ, perhaps though. Drowsy, he goes, wakes up though, thanks to the ace in the hole that followed through, but there was no real extra CC there as Bard does get through the portal, so CoreJJ is safe.
So TL again playing through mid, and it just feels like they have a better understanding of how to actually play out these dances. Golden Guardians is getting vision in the area, trying to set up, around the Dragon Pit, around the Baron, but oftentimes they're kind of doing it a little bit too early, and then they lose control over mid lane, which gives TL the chance to then step in and take all that vision back, right? Because as soon as you answer that mid lane wave, TL will move over, and they'll have the numbers advantage at the Dragon, at the Baron Pit, so that's exactly what happened here again. It's what happened last time around that previous Dragon, and Hanzo here trying to steal this away.
Oh, I think Horns got it, but Tactical's going to arrow him as a result, and now Horns are going to be put in the Death Realm, and that's going to be all the way back to the fountain. Oh, he gets over. That's pretty cute, but he can't go any further than that, and Horns are going to flash. I think he's okay, but Impact going to make it very expensive.
Oh, barely getting out of there by the hair on his chinny chin chin. Hanzo survives. That was really, really close. He did have to flash, but it is a trade of flashes. So actually very good for Hanzo, considering he got the red buff. Impact flash, he flashed. He didn't even use the stopwatch. So Hanzo will escape and completes his death dance. So sitting at a really strong point in the game on this Renekton on 3 items. But we'll see if he's going to be able to get much done with it. If he can actually close the gap to some of these champions like the Ashe, like the Azir, will be extremely difficult, especially because he doesn't have his flash to actually, get right in on top of them, it's pretty easy to disengage the Renekton in that case with as simple as your ultimate.
Yeah, if he can get into the backline though, Renekton is such a menace with those 3 items. So certainly have to see if Haunter can indeed find some angles, or maybe when his flash comes back up, it'll be made a little bit easier. It is no surprise to me though that Team Liquid are the ones excelling in the objective game. Again, we talk about how methodical and clinical this team is. When you have someone like CoreJJ in your team, you set up for objectives perfectly, basically every single time. This is a team that is just so well disciplined. And I think Golden Guardians, their strengths, getting leads, scrappy team fights, right? They're very skilled players individually. And I think they've had a lot of good outplay moments. But when it comes to the fundamentals, I think no one does it better than Team Liquid. And with 4 straight championships, apart from last spring, kind of makes sense why.
4 straight championships and a noopsie.
Yeah, and a 9.
Makes
Yeah,
sense
you know what?
why.
Just block that one out. When you do your next fake history thing, I think that one will be notably absent.
Exactly. So Golden Guardians, again, trying to set up here. They're trying to get an engage.
That's a good
the flash.
look. Tactical force flash out, though, as you mentioned, but the stun lands in with the arrow. Huhi, though, in his ulti is Haunter going to try and rip into the back line. Tactical the target, but he got put in the death realm, and that's a real bad time. It's a timeout time for Haunter as Impact. He's going to look to take him down, but he's in the stopwatch now. Haunter will be felled at the end of it all. Tries to heal up, but it's not enough there as the rest of Golden Guardians must turn tail and run.
Yeah, they're going to be forced back. FBI had to flash out of there, too. You see Haunter going in, this big threatening Renekton. Gets exhausted, and, well, that's pretty much the end of it. Can't do much after that. So TL, they get the kill. The cooldowns are off of a lot of the members here of Golden Guardians, so they will just start up this Baron knowing they can turn onto FBI pretty easily. And we'll see if he's going to step too far forward, because TL are burning down the Baron, but it still has a lot of health, and we do have to remember that Closer has Flash, and he has Smite, so there's always that possibility of a steal here.
They're just going to try and read it by the looks of things. Baron is very low, but the fight is breaking out. They're going to finish it off. Brock's are actually getting low. Does have to safeguard there, but Impact also low as FBI will be felled by Jens. A good pick there from Team Liquid as they barely hold on around what was looking like kind of a chaotic Baron. CoreJJ is going to get tagged, but there's no follow-up there. And TL actually decide that the safest thing is to just back off the Baron entirely and reset after getting their picks.
Yeah, I mean, look at the health bars on Brock's at Impact. You got to get out of there when you are that low. They did kill off FBI, so that's kind of what they gained by going over towards that Baron. But Golden Guardians did a good job, I think, stopping that and making sure that it wasn't the Baron take itself that could have potentially been game-ending there.
Well, Elder Dragon, another major buff ready to go in 55 seconds, but Team Liquid going to try and take this Baron before that. A very risky two-man, but lots of damage between these two champions as Closer going to have to go ahead and check it out. Oh, there's the rest of Team Liquid as they're going to take this Baron. I think Closer maybe checks too late. He is here in time. Demonte, no smite, unfortunately, for him, but he's going to move in and try and get the poke down. Closer's zoned out by Mordekaiser, and as he said, not a 50-50 when he put in the Shadow Realm as Demonte going to kite back. Looks like Closer is just going to straight up die to Impact, and the fight is going to break out from here. Demonte going to have to flash. He can't even do that despite having 2. A great Tempered Fate into double Q there from CoreJJ into the scoop for Jensen, and Team Liquid are going to put a bow on the gift that has been given by Golden Guardians, and this is going to be game 1. There's the ace as Jensen secures that final kill.
TL just running through them, absolutely mowing down member after member. They're 5-for-0 ace. They get that Baron. They're going to be able to push in multiple lanes here. They will grab the Elder, so the game won't end, but I mean, this is potentially that game-ending damage that they needed. And they are showing the value of that Mordekaiser. It's just so difficult as a jungler to be able to play around that without a QSS, and Closer is not going to be building one this game. He is very, very far away from that with the Elder and the Baron and the Soul. That trifecta of mega powerful buffs here. You have to think TL is going to be able to deal game-ending damage.
I mean, we talk about, the power of Azir and these late-game carries with crit. Impact did the most damage in the team fight. He put in so much work. Zoning out the jungler, smacking people with his mace, burning him with the Ring of Fire around him. I mean, we talk about paying the QSS tax. Mordekaiser makes you pay as well, and this is why, as Closer, he wants to steal this buff, but he's just not allowed.
Exactly. It is the Bud Light ace here. He didn't even have to flash over the wall. The nice Bard portal there placed down, and Impact just running straight towards him. You can see the Cloud Soul proc. Once you go to that Death Realm and there's a super speed Mordekaiser zooming at you, there is not much hope of surviving. So very well done there from Impact. And this was just really nice. CoreJJ and Jensen combining the double Bard ulti, nails the binding to follow it up, and Jensen slides on in there for the sand swoop. The analyst desk coined it yesterday.
Yep, and then another portal there for CoreJJ to make sure FBI has nowhere good to go. As Team Liquid still with a minute left on this Baron are going to charge down bottom lane, try and open up the inhib. They have exposed a very nice bubble angle there for Dante.
Look at the Baron buff power play, by the way.
7,400
gold, excuse me? That is a lot of gold. They are very rich.
When they started before that replay, I think they were like 3K ahead. That's obviously a lot more than that now. They're going to break 2 inhibs here, 1 in bot, 1 in mid. And as you said, the play they made was basically, you know, taking the step before the final one to close out this game. And now the final step is being taken. Golden Guardian's going to be pushed up to their fountain. Tactical going to get chunked out there. Who he's going to have to be the hero, and no heroics he can find. He dies in his ultimate because TL just have too much damage. Now it's a 5v4 that you cannot possibly win. FBI melt to the power of Elder Dragon, Cloud Soul, Tactical, and Team Liquid going to claim the first Nexus here in this best of 5 series. Make it 2 more for them, and they'll be off to Worlds and back towards the finals once again. It's not just playing with their food in the fountain. Closer going to get a parting kill onto Broxah, but that's all the good news left, as that's game 1 for Team Liquid.
Nicely done there by TL. It felt like they were pretty well in control. You know, most of the game, I would say. There was a couple little blips on the radar. That 3rd Dragon fight, as well as that 1 Baron take, the contest there from Golden Guardians. But for the most part, TL played a very slow, steady, controlled game. And they look good doing it. I think it's going to be up more to Golden Guardians to adjust their game plan. I don't think that you can go into a series against TL, play like TL, and expect to be better at it than they are.
Yep.
So that is really what I would like to see change. I do think that Alistar had some solid engages, but you know, going for this type of lane, you know, as opposed to a double range matchup where you can actually bully and kind of, you know, make use a lot of the strength, not only of the champion Caitlyn, but of your players who have been incredibly lane dominant. I think that just makes more sense for the style that they have shown us, and as a result, TL is able to hold on and come out on top in what was a pretty long game.
Yep, pretty clean affair as well for Team Liquid Academy, but, oh, sorry, not Academy, Team Liquid LCS, excuse me. It's time for us to step away, but in return, the State Farm Analyst Desk will break down that win.
It's a stacked Academy.